Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bowles Brown is a working comic, which is hard to say these days because I guess there are a lot of working comics. They're just none of them are making a living out of it, but you've made a living out of it, haven't you?
Yes, and none of them usually are as old as I am either.
Do you find that getting old as a comic is a problem?
It's definitely harder to get work. So,
wow, why?
But I think that's always been the people always complain about that. But I think show business has always been for younger. I think George Harrison talked about they mentioned a Beatle reunion years ago, and he said, "I don't think people want to see four old men hobbling around on a stage." Maybe he's right.
Well, maybe he may be right, but the whole philosophy is wrong. For instance, in comedy, are you a better comic right now than you were, say, 10 years ago?
I think I am.
Yeah, you just get better and better the more you do it, and without some kind of medical intervention happening that would make it impossible for you to do it, you would probably continue to get better as the years go on, and then maybe around 75, 80, you would pretty much set everything you were doing in stone, but you were very good at what you do. So,
that's what Durst said. He said comics are kind of like old blues musicians.
Yeah, good example. Good example. And then he got a stroke, but I mean,
yeah.
You can laugh at that; it was meant to be funny. But it's just, I mean, it always bothers me, the ageism in things like this. I mean, ageism in music. I mean, yes, some people do get worse. Have you heard, what's his name? Oh, I'm trying to remember his name now. God, he was on Colbert the other night, and I caught him on YouTube. James Taylor. He's terrible now.
Really?
Not that he was ever very good.
Yeah, wasn't one of my, not my kind of music.
But, I mean, I saw him, and he was just terrible. Just terrible. So
I would think most singers, the people's voice really changes with age, most people, and I would think singers, that would be a real detriment.
Well, it's how good you take care of your voice if you're a singer. That's your instrument. And so you don't abuse your instrument. And in the case of Frank Sinatra, he drank, he smoked. He abused his instrument. And by the time he was 75, he was terrible. His prime was right around in his early 50s. His voice was great, he was great, and so on. But then he kept smoking and drinking and smoking, and the voice started going until finally, if you listen to his later recordings, oh, man. He's like hitting clams like crazy. He can't hit the note he wants to hit. It's pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. But on the other hand, somebody who respected his instrument was Tony Bennett, who kept being able to sing until, I think, what is he now, 95, something like that? Wait a minute, hold on a second. Echo, how old is Echo? It won't start. Echo. Just not working. Oh, well. I was going to ask Echo how old he is, but I think he's something like 95. But he even the thing he did with Lady Gaga, which was his final performance, he could still get it out there. He wasn't vocalizing as much; he was saying it a lot, but he was good. And so if you respect your instrument, I think you can keep singing forever, be honest with you.
And actors can go on till that's barely ageism in film, but Clint Eastwood, I think, is 91.
Yeah, well, but you have to, if you're doing it right, you have to play your age.
For sure, yeah.
You know who was the smartest actor of all time? Was Sean Connery. He always played roles that were older than he was. And he said, I can keep doing that forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said it's when you're trying to play people that are younger than you are that it becomes difficult. So
yeah, that never looks good.
If you look at him, he's always looking much older than he is. Plays parts that are older than he is. And, well, he's dead now, of course. But can't play any more roles except maybe, a corpse. But he was, that was a good theory. So he made sure he did that. The trouble was, I never could figure this out in films. In the 30s, 40s, and 50s, an actor could be in his 50s, his 60s, his 70s, and always they had him play younger than he was. The leading woman was like 28. And the guy is like 65. And you're going, come on, it's an impossible matchup. But that's the way it was. The one I always...
Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak would be a good...
Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak in Vertigo, he had to be well into his, maybe close to 60, and she was still in her
60, yeah.
She was still in her 20s, I think. That matchup would have never happened. Okay, but the one I really love is in North by Northwest. Cary Grant, who by then was easily in his 60s, was playing this guy who had this mother who's a part of the movie. She's like, always bailing him out of jail and doing stuff like that. And that was played by Jessie Royce Landis, played Cary Grant's mother. She was 2 years younger than he was.
Really? Wow.
2 years younger. I often wondered how she felt about that. I'm thinking she felt she had a good day's work, but I mean, what a thing. She was just that old. And
who was was it Eva Marie Saint? It
was the woman in that. Yeah, she had to be pretty young, maybe in her early 30s, maybe,
Well, Hitchcock loved the young blondes. So.
He loved the young blonde, so much so I think that he actually had a peephole in their dressing room. They say he was a very weird little man.
I've heard stories, but I don't like. It's not really fair when someone's dead to accuse people. I don't think, but maybe he was. I don't know.
But they did. What was the movie? Vertigo. He wanted. I'm trying to remember the name of the actress now. She wound up playing the sister in Psycho, and he loved her. He thought she was just the greatest actress, but she couldn't.
Oh, Janet Leigh.
No, not Janet Leigh. No, Vertigo.
Vera Miles.
Vera Miles. Very good. Very good. Vera Miles was supposed to be the lead in Vertigo, but then then she got pregnant and she couldn't do the picture. Because you don't want a pregnant, lead in that picture. But that was who he wanted, So, that was...
I think the one that said he might have had some problems was the girl that did the birds. What was her name?
Tippi Hedren.
Tippi Hedren.
Yeah. Well, he liked her. He thought she was terrific. And I thought she was maybe the worst Hitchcock actress ever. She did Marnie, which was just a ghastly picture.
I've never seen it. I think, is that his last film? Because I heard that's awful.
No, his last film was the one with Bruce Dern. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. He did quite a few films after that. So, but Tippi Hedren, she was just a terrible actress. I'm trying to remember who's her daughter. Her daughter's very successful in films.
Oh, yeah, Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith, yeah. So that kind of pairing was very strange, and I don't know if I'm being ageist by saying Cary Grant probably shouldn't have been playing opposite Kim Novak. But for some reason, or Jimmy Stewart, yeah, it should have worked. It did work. So what the hell? Who am I to complain? Yeah.
Well, I think that's the history of Hollywood is older men with beautiful young women. So.
Well, I mean, that was the thing, you know. I mean, then you had the Hollywood casting couch, you know. If we went back to history of Hollywood and we looked at some of these guys who ran the studios, Harvey Weinstein is a sweet old man, okay?
I think so, because the things with no social media or anything, the things they could have gotten away with was unbelievable.
I think there's a story that Louis B. Mayer had sex with Shirley Temple when she was still like around 16.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
not good.
Yeah. I mean, back then it was horrible. We have the old story. You know, this is supposedly is now considered true, but it's still not spoken as gospel, that Kirk Douglas raped Natalie Wood when she was 15.
I think I heard something about it. Is that true?
Supposedly it was he had her up to his place. This is a whole it's like it's out of the Harvey Weinstein playbook. Okay, but Harvey didn't invent it. Remember this, folks. Harvey just simply was taking advantage of what he believed was old Hollywood. All right? But he supposedly had her up for an audition or something like that. And in the process, he came onto her and he forced her to have sex. 15-year-old girl.
Jesus.
Do you think where's the Me Too movement on that one? You know, yeah, he's dead now, but you know, he shouldn't have died without being called to account for that.
Well, they could always dig him up and beat him.
Yeah, but you know, it was considered your right as a producer, as a director, as a co-star to take advantage of these women. You know, I mean, it's very sad. Very sad.
I'm sure that was just an accepted way. That's the way business was done.
So, I mean, if you think Harvey Weinstein is terrible, there was much worse.
Yeah, he ain't the first.
He ain't the first. Much worse. And I might say that when you talk about people being taken advantage of in Hollywood, Hollywood was very gay. You know, a lot of gays in Hollywood. And there were stories that guys told about how they were taken advantage of by producers because they were a guy.
Wow.
Okay, and they had to put out, or they were straight and they had to put out. So this was the history of Hollywood.
It probably happened in other businesses too. We never heard about. So.
It probably did. You know, certainly. Women who were able to get ahead in, say, business, let's just say business in general, there was always the term going around about, well, she slept her way to the top. Okay? And that might not have been untrue, that was the way you had to get an advancement, was to sleep with somebody. You know, and why you would do that and then get only half the wages that the men were getting, I have no idea. But, I mean, that went on in all businesses. But the casting couch in Hollywood, I mean, we've called all these people to account, like Harvey Weinstein. And Harvey was just, you know, I'm sure we could find directors and producers and studio heads who were doing that much more often than Harvey was able to get away with it. Yeah. So, I mean, he was just living in old Hollywood is what he was doing, and the new mentality was coming into play, and he got caught in the crossfire. I'm not excusing his behavior. I think it was abominable. You know, I would never, ever treat a woman that way. And it's wrong. But to a guy like Harvey Weinstein, it was the privilege of being a producer. And he got the lessons being taught to him by old Hollywood. So, anyway.
Well, he's away for a long time, as they say.
You know, I always forget to ask you, do you go to movies at all?
I haven't. You know that I haven't been to a movie in years because There hasn't been anything I really wanted to see.
We used to go to the movies constantly.
Have they stopped making good movies? That's what I feel.
Well, I would go to see movies in theaters that looked better in a theater than they would look at home. All right?
Movies are made to be seen in a theater. I always thought that.
Yeah. And especially I was a big fan of 3D, so we went to all the 3D films and saw them in the theaters. Although after a while they got so badly projected that I just used my 3D TV at home. But anyway, then came COVID. And of course we weren't going to go to a movie theater. It was a death sentence if you went to a movie theater. And so we avoided the movie theaters, and then the shots came out, the vaccinations, and we were a little more bold, but we still didn't go back to theaters. We just didn't feel we wanted to go back to a theater. And really, the only time we've been to a theater was we tried it a couple of months ago, and went to see Avatar: The Way of Water. 3-hour movie.
Ooh.
We walked out after 2 hours. Literally walked out after 2 hours. I said, well, wait, we'll go home. It'll be on Disney Plus in a week or two or whatever, and we'll go watch the rest of it there. It was, I thought, a boring picture at 2 hours. That's why we left. Didn't feel we were going to miss anything. But that's the only time I've been to a movie theater, and it was so shabby, and just they didn't take care of the place. And it just looked like death warmed over,
Yeah, I think the theater days are gone. So
yeah,
are going.
Yeah, but
3-hour movie. That's why. Who made the shortest films were Woody Allen and Hitchcock.
Well, yeah, but there were shorter films. In the history of film, they used to have things called second features. Companion features. Every movie theater would have a double feature. You had to. So you had the main big picture, all right? And then you had the companion feature. They were an hour and 1 minute, things like that. And you can see them a lot on things like Turner Classic Movies and so on. And something? Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Please, just, make your statement. Get me in and out in an hour and a half. But the thing is, they're charging so much for movies now, they feel they got to go three hours to make people happy.
I think Hitchcock said he wanted a movie to be where you could watch it without having to get up and go to the bathroom.
Really? Hitchcock films, I'm trying to think if there's a really long Hitchcock film. You're right. He was very terse in his.
I think Woody Allen had some movies that were under 80 minutes.
Yeah. Why not? But then again, in those days, you could do that. People were used to shorter films. Now, you got a shorter film, people want their money back. They want to go in there, and then on top of that, you're going to see something like The Avengers, right? And it's like 3 hours of nothing but explosions.
I know.
And sometimes you're sitting in the theater, and they're older theaters, and they didn't put enough soundproofing between you and the theater next to you, and they're running one with more explosions. And so you're hearing the explosions from the other theater while you're trying to watch, a Woody Allen film. It's
Well, the old adage is a short show is a good show.
Well, isn't it? You tell your story, you do it in a very terse manner, and then you get it over with. I was very happy with the series that they did out of a game that I played called The Last of Us. And it only went 9 episodes. And they did the whole first game. There are 2 games. There's the first game, and then there's this part 2 game, which is they came out about 5 years later. And that's the one they're going to make into the next couple of years of the series on HBO. But they did the first game all in one season. And I wondered how they were going to do that. And when I look back on it, it was terrific because they're doing exactly what we were talking about. They made it smaller, more compact, and people loved it.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody got in and got out, and they got it in 9 episodes, and they're gone. You know, they'll come back next season with the second game. But I was so happy with the way they did that, and I wondered how they were going to do that. Whether they were going to, because they could have stretched it out into 2 seasons, and then it might not have been as good a show. Being this tight was very good. Very good.
I think you almost have. I don't think people have attention spans anymore. I don't know how you hold anyone for 2 or 3 hours. God.
Well, you and I don't have attention spans. Kids have they don't have great attention spans, but for some reason they can watch a long movie. I don't understand it because they don't have good attention spans.
No, maybe we're playing video games or something.
Well, no, the TikTok. TikTok is you flip to another thing and then to another video and then to another video.
Yeah, let's watch a million 3-second videos. Yeah.
I don't. Have you ever looked at TikTok? You ever tried TikTok?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can get addicted to it. I flip it, and there are the kiddies playing. I
got friends that are totally addicted.
There's
to
a
it.
woman who's doing a butt dance. Boom, another one. There's some guy. I don't know, getting tooth implants. You know, and then I'm watching television, and it's a subcommittee hearing on TikTok, and it's all these aged, older men complaining that TikTok is a arm of the Communist Party, and that we're all being indoctrinated into the Republican Party, and that the data is being used about us. And I'm thinking, well, if they're using data on me, they're going to say he really likes looking at Bengal cats. You know, he really likes looking at women's butts. I mean, no. TikTok is so benign. There is no propaganda on there. I've never come across any kind of propaganda on it. You know, there's nothing. Yeah, nothing.
So they're going to ban it, I guess.
They want to ban it, but you see, I mean, what we do is we have these older gentlemen who are in Congress. The thing that gets worse with age are congressmen and senators. Because we were talking about people not getting worse with age, and they definitely do. They don't understand technology. They really have no grasp of it. And then they hold another committee on the dangers of artificial intelligence. Well, you know, artificial intelligence is going to happen whether you like it or not. And it's already been here for the last, 10 years at least.
Al Spielberg had a movie in 2001 called AI.
Called AI, yeah. But, I mean, we've had artificial intelligence before, and it's just that it's gotten a little better, you know. Oh, you can make a person who looks just like Brad Pitt. Yeah, but it'll probably be a better actor. You know, so, I mean, what's the harm there? I mean, but all these congressmen, they get so upset about technology. They just go crazy. And I never could quite figure out why, you know. I mean, they just don't understand any of that. So, well, I want my TikTok. I want to watch it. Yeah, I like watching the kitties, and what it does, I mean, it does have what they call algorithms, and I know that if I go and look at a lot of kitty pictures, eventually they're going to send me more kitty pictures because they know I like kitties. All right, and that's fine with me. You know, use your algorithms to figure out what I'll tell you. You know who uses it? YouTube uses it like crazy. If right now I go in there and I look for, Cary Grant, right? And then I will go down and will start showing me videos, and every other one will be about Cary Grant.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're using the same algorithms you're accusing the Chinese of using with TikTok, and yet the fact is that the algorithms that in America, they're mining data all the time from you. If you use Facebook, you use YouTube, you use Google, they're mining. They're data mining constantly. So if China is doing the same thing with an app, What's so unusual about that? You don't question American companies doing it.
No, it's well, privacy's dead, but I think is the data mining thing is just primarily to sell you shit, right?
Yeah. Well, that and to show you stuff you want to see.
Okay.
Hey, I just look. We've run out of time here, Larry.
Yes, we have. Oh, wow.
We have a lot
quick.
of fun. We have a lot of fun with these. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you doing them.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, my ringer was off. I know you tried to catch me earlier.
Yeah,
but-
well, that's par for the course. But
Yes.
anyway, hey, we'll see you again next week.
We'll catch you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown. Yay!
Alec Bennett, man.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes. Still Larry Bubbles Brown, folks. We love Larry, and we will continue to love Larry no matter what anybody says. Anyway, where are we? I'm just trying to get things... I do everything here. I mean, I flip the switches, and I change the cameras, and do him. So if every now and then I'm kind of looking off to the side of me doing something. Please don't mind that, okay? Let me see here. It's time now to go to our citizen panel, of which there are only 2 people right now, but we'll admit them. What the hell? Why not? Here they come. There they are. There's Jeff and there's Josh. Hello, Josh. How are you this evening?
Good.
Yep. And Jeff, are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Yep. Move your camera down. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I don't know where everybody is these days in the beginning of the show when we get to this point in the show, but they are not here. Man, I'm really getting tired of something. Let me explain it to you a second. I keep talking about, joking about YouTube demonetizing me, because what we do is we monetize these programs. You see a little commercial at the beginning of it, and I get paid for that. I don't get paid a lot, I mean, if I were to send you all money for that, I would be sending you about a penny each, all right? But the thing is, they demonetize you if you don't meet up to the criterion of being good for their advertisers, all right? So what happens to me, it's really incredible, and I don't know why, but the last couple of times they've demonetized me, it's amazing because it was for such benign stuff that it was ridiculous. Like, for instance, the shows I do with Marjorie on Facebook? Well, I also post them over on YouTube. Demonetized. I mean, can you tell me why? I have no idea.
Did they not give you a reason?
Oh, no, they don't give you a reason. So then you protest it, and then they go, oh, congratulations, we've just looked at it, and you're okay. Oh, boy. Oh, God, I got to stop. I got to, boy. Oh, boy. You see what happened? That was, somebody got really smart. They made that Alan W. Oh, boy.
Mary.
Yes,
Joseph.
right. Remove.
Right,
All
here.
right, remove. Okay. Remove. Oh, yeah. This guy is like yelling at us here. There we go. I don't care. What the hell? I'm sorry about that, folks. Well, we will get demonetized
Well,
now,
you won't
I
have to ask
suppose.
why tonight. You probably should not protest that one.
Yeah. I will not protest it at all. And they probably won't demonetize this one.
Yeah, it'd probably be your highest rated show ever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I could go in later and take it out. Maybe I won't post the show tonight. That's what I won't do. I'm tired of posting these shows anyway. Nobody watches them. So, what the hell? Screw that. Yeah, right. So.
I don't know what that was all about, but yeah.
Well, I don't know why people want to do this. It's
Yeah.
such a waste of their time, my time. Now I have to admit that they put up somebody's name here who normally calls the program.
Mm-hmm.
Now if that person calls tonight, I'm probably not going to put them on. But let me go back to the Zoom here. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what they gain from that. Like, what is it, just like something fun, or I don't know.
I guess they seem to think that's funny.
I guess. I mean, I don't know what.
Yeah. And it's always gay porn. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, why is it always gay porn? Why can't you just some normal porn, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened to Jeff?
He dropped off. I don't know.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's been rather slow the last couple of nights. I don't know why, but
Yeah, we're here. It's like Saturday.
but anyway, so
we'll
I
just-
get demonetized for like, and also my Monday show. The Monday show, nothing goes on there that is even slightly off kilter, and yet they demonetize that, and I'm getting really pissed at this. So I'm thinking of maybe only putting this thing out live on YouTube, and not necessarily doing anything else to it. If you want to watch the program, watch it when it happens. Okay. Otherwise, I'm tired of this. I'm not putting it up on Facebook. I'm not going to put it anywhere there. The only thing I'm going to put up on Facebook is the Monday show, which I broadcast on Facebook. And let me see here. And the things I do with Marjorie, which I put directly on Facebook. So anyway, those are my things. Boy, there is nobody calling tonight. This is getting to a point where, except of course that guy should have left him on. He was yeah.
Cool guy.
Okay, here we go. Jeff Stein. Let me keep my finger on the button here, just in case. Wait a minute. Jeff Stein. Is that Jeff? Yes, that's Jeff.
Real Jeff.
Okay. One time somebody was really smart, though. They said they were somebody that when I went to them, they were there, but I was talking to them and they wouldn't say anything, and then they ran porn. So what they had done was record that person, then used him as the way to get in. So
Well, somebody used Jeff's name too one night.
yeah,
That was true.
yeah. And tonight they used what's it? Alan, who hasn't called for the last 2 nights. So I guess if he calls tonight, I'll have to like go to my face and then put him back on. But anyway, that's the way that goes. So anything any of you want to talk about? Is there? Let me see here.
Well, it's like Justice Thomas is in trouble again.
He is.
Yeah, he's been selling property now.
What's this? Wait a minute.
He made a couple of property, sold some property to, I forgot who it was. Sold a couple pieces of property and didn't disclose it when he was supposed to. $130,000.
Yeah.
Anything you're supposed to disclose anything over $1,000,
Yeah.
and that's almost worse than what he did before.
Well, what he did before was pretty terrible.
Yeah, well, this is
But
supposed to be
it was
a little
like
bit worse.
Phil said on the program one night. He said, "Well, I mean, there wasn't anything against the law, what he did." And I said, "Yeah, but it was unethical. But I suppose that doesn't matter."
No, this was both unethical and against the law.
Oh, okay. Well,
There's a specific rule in there that says you have to report anything over $1,000. This is 130 times over.
now, am I mistaken? That the only way we can get rid of a Supreme Court justice is by impeachment?
Yeah, unless they resign or die. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the chances Clarence Thomas will resign?
I don't think he will at all.
I don't know. I think he's getting better now.
He's still bitter over the confirmation, so I don't think he'll ever let that go. I don't think he'll resign,
You don't think so? Even with all the
I don't. I mean, Thomas is a pretty stubborn
yeah.
individual. I don't really think he's changed his mind on hardly anything in a very, very long time. So I don't, foresee him as resigning. I mean, never. Hey, I mean, if it happens, but I don't think he'll. I don't think he'll do it. And the chances of it are pretty small. Now, the impeachment, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think they need to take a look at his stuff, because the more days that go on, the more things seem to get unearthed, right? I mean, we had this round of the stuff last week, and then a week goes by. So now that people are looking even more closely, it's not taking them too long to find stuff. So this may not even be all that's out there. Or then again, it might be. And I'm not saying this as some kind of, Clarence Thomas hater or anything. Look, I've come on this program many times, and I don't know if I'd say defended, but at least tried to explain, some justices that people can't stand. And I've never been a big Clarence Thomas fan. I mean, some of the things that he has said, I thought were in line with his judicial philosophy. I didn't really think that, there was malice or anything in why he said what he said. And I don't necessarily think that he's out to be serving people, like being bought with rulings and stuff like that. I just don't think he's a real ethical individual. I mean, I think,
yeah, but
that it's possible to, it's not like, I don't think he's bought off and paid or any of this, and he just dismisses it. I think he wanted that job and he likes it and he took it seriously, but I don't think that he's an ethical person. I think he thinks this stuff is okay because he's always felt kind of like he was owed or entitled. He's always struck me that way. Like, I deserve this because I had a shit life and you ran me through the ringer over my confirmation.
Well, something, we have Joe Biden to thank for him.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go back to Joe Biden then. The way he allowed that committee to handle Anita Hill was horrible. It was despicable. That's the reason I never liked Joe Biden. What, I'm supposed to like him now as a liberal because of the way he acted in those hearings? It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Democrats were not able to, say what needed to be said at certain times because they were chicken.
Yeah.
and they still are a lot of times, right? We'll see. I mean, it would be nice if this stuff with Thomas was like 6 or 7 months from now, and Democrats could, have a chance at getting some kind of majority where they could handle this or whatever. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough road to go either way. I mean, the best thing would be, for all parties would be if somehow the Chief Justice could find a way to strong arm him out of there, I mean, by talking to him and cutting him out of whatever he could, because I'm sure they're friendly, but I'm sure the Chief Justice strikes me as an ethical individual, right? I mean, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
I mean, Justice Roberts does not strike me as a person.
No, I can't accuse him of being unethical.
Who is a piece of garbage, right? I mean, I'm sure he's going to come out with rulings that some people don't like or his opinion on certain things, but he strikes me as a person that works hard for the American public. And on certain days, you don't like the result of it, right? Just like a president or anybody else, but like he actually works, like he takes it seriously, like he understands what his job is,
Thinks about what he's
responsibility, and that he's ethical, that he's not trying to make $1 billion off of it or anything like that. And if you don't really, and he keeps his mouth shut, he keeps his head down. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't make waves. He does what a judge should do, right?
Well, no, I think also he
know.
wants the court to be respected.
Correct.
And he realizes that is not respect you get because you're owed it. It's respect that you earn. Oh, here comes Alan W. again. Does he come on as Alan W.? I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Let me just put my...
I'm sure he could message you and tell you if it was him or not.
Put my
right?
camera on here. Watch this. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see who we got here. Okay. Oh, he's taken a while. Okay. Oh, there he is. Oh, okay. All right. All right. And then there's Brian Neary. Let me just keep myself here. So just in case, Okay. Is it Brian Neary? Brian? There's Brian Neary. Let's see here. There he is.
This butthole. Cut him off. Cut it off.
Okay.
The last bomber on YouTube, you didn't see anything at all.
What?
You switched to you right away.
Oh, really? You didn't see it? A lot of it?
You'll watch the playback. You didn't see anything at all. It switched to you on the screen, and you guys started talking about it, but nothing.
We could describe it for you.
Yeah, we could do a description if you want to know. It was like two rear ends of males. Tony. Let's see here.
Adrian out of the room first.
Yeah, I know.
Tony entered the room. Well, let's see here what happens with Tony. Let's just make sure it's Tony. So I will go back to my camera. Okay. Isn't it amazing you get to see this ugly visage? Yeah. But anyway, there we go.
It was Harlan Crow in Texas. Was it the same guy, isn't it? I think it's the same guy that he was.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's Tony. Okay, there's Tony. Okay.
Conservative donor.
Let me see here. Let's go back here. There's Tony. Hi, Tony.
How you doing?
How are you? Let's see here. Oh, here's your eyes. They look what? Wait a minute. There's somebody who's trying to get on, but he's written, Gabnet, your eyes look like testicles. Oh, yeah, I'm going to admit you.
Oh, you liar.
Blow me. Okay.
Thought today was Saturday. That's why.
What?
Did you watch Chinatown?
I started watching Chinatown. And then, like, halfway through it, all of a sudden, like 30 minutes through it, all of a sudden, oh, shoot, it's Friday, not Saturday.
Oh, you're watching Chinatown?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't really seen the movie, so it's good so far.
Yeah. We watched, what did we watch tonight? We rewatched a film we love called Jojo Rabbit. Has anybody seen Jojo Rabbit?
I didn't see that.
Great film. Great film.
Really?
Wonderful. Done by Taika Waititi, who also plays Hitler in this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Wayne tells me that somebody tried to get in using my name tonight before I got on.
Why don't you turn your microphone down? You're over-modulating
God.
terribly.
Let's talk to my mother. Sounds like
that's what Kevin was saying. It's the same, that GOP mega donor, from the previous things, and I mean it's fairly like we always say. I mean, can you imagine if this was, Elena Kagan and George Soros, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if Elena Kagan was spotted just eating dinner in a restaurant with George Soros?
Right.
I mean, I'm dead serious. If there were a picture of her and him eating dinner at the table in a restaurant in Washington,
who picked up the question would be who picked up the bill?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dead serious though. If they went out to dinner and just
She could
1
go,
hour and he paid for it,
Yeah.
it would be a big deal.
she could go out with George Soros, couldn't she, to have dinner?
Not against the law that I'm
They
aware
have the
of.
same political feelings, right? They have a lot to
Yeah.
discuss at dinner. That's nice.
Sure.
But they would go batshit. They really would.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It would probably be some sort of. It would probably be a segment on Tucker Carlson. You know, I mean,
Yep. And they would
you
get
know,
very apoplectic about
they'd
it.
have a guest or something. You know, I mean, I mean, I'm being serious. You know, what do we not know? And I mean, just whatever. I mean, but I'm sure that it would be one segment on each of the shows on Fox.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
You
okay
know.
for Clarence Thomas to go out and
Yeah, apparently to travel the world in 80 days or whatever they
20
did, you know?
years of taking plane flights and sailing on the guy's yacht. This is 20 years of this.
Doesn't that amount to bribes?
Well, no, he says that he never made a decision based on his relationship with this guy.
Well,
Okay? That doesn't matter. There's the ethics of it.
Right.
God forbid I should mention ethics here. Well, since
Yeah, I
when,
mean, look,
since
I mean,
when
they're-
shouldn't we expect ethics out of a Supreme
You
Court
know,
justice?
I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, Phil's statement that no laws were broken, I would say is borderline, okay? It's still yet to be determined, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
I could probably concede that. Borderline, but probably concede. But even if I did, I would say that it doesn't matter. Laws don't have to be broken for impeachment, first of all. And second of all, you know, it doesn't matter because what happened and he knows that it was not, that it's improper, right? I mean, it's poor conduct
Yeah.
for someone like
Well,
a judge.
well,
And
how
I get
about wait a minute?
people's-
How about the fact that this guy gave, I believe, $500,000, yeah, to Clarence Thomas's wife
Mhm.
for her PAC or whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
I
I mean, you
mean-
know, and I get people's arguments or whatever that, well, you know, there are people too, and they get to go on vacation just like we do and all that. I don't understand that, but listen, they take these jobs knowing what, right?
Mm-hmm.
Public servants make sacrifice. You know, I mean, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the framers of that document made sacrifices. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
much sacrifice, and I mean, they understood that they were giving up things to do what they did. And these folks go into this job understanding that. I mean, look, they do have the right to write a book and give speeches and they all do that. They have ways that they can enrich themselves and live a great life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry that if that guy really is your best friend, then that's fine. But you need to say, hey, man, you're my best friend, but I'm on the Supreme Court, so we got to keep this low key. You guys are going to come over tonight and, you know, that fucking bitch wife of mine is going to bake lasagna or something. I mean, you know, we're not going to go stay at the Four Seasons, you know,
Right.
for the weekend, every weekend.
Yeah.
Have we ever impeached a SCOTUS judge?
I think it's been done once,
Okay.
really, really long time ago. And it seems like it was one of the guys, what is their name?
Well,
They're
we've
from
always
Ohio, all of them.
we've always asked for a high level of honesty and decency,
Right.
and on the part of our justices. This is the highest court in the land. It's not the Senate. It's not Congress. It's not even the White House, although we should expect it of the White House. This is the highest court in the land, and there shouldn't be any problem with trying to, you know, deal.
They know better.
They know better. They know better.
They know better.
And so did Clarence Thomas. You know, if all these years he had been taking these trips and reported them, that's a different story.
Yeah. Right.
And
You know.
this guy claims that they sold this property. He bought the property so that he could build a building on there for Clarence Thomas to build a museum for him to demonstrate the world to the world what a great to dedicate a building to his life and show the world what a great
they want a little mini Clarence Thomas, like library, museum, study center. Okay, all of which is fine.
Well, wait a minute. Do Supreme Court justices do
if he'd
that?
done that in the first place when he bought it, that maybe would have been a little different. But why is he waiting, 10 years or whatever?
I mean, like I said, all of which is if that's what they want, is fine. I mean, there is no law against that. I mean, you can do whatever, but
you disclose it.
When presidents do that, for example, they form a foundation and a 501(c)(3). They fill out 50,000 pieces of paper. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
you don't just do it and then 10 years later get caught and go, oh yeah. I'm going to build a 7-Eleven in his name.
Right. I mean, it was for a good cause. I mean, hey, I broke the law, but it was for a good cause. It's never really been I mean, I guess it's an affirmative defense or whatever, but those usually are not accepted, So it's, I don't know. I mean, like I said, at the very, very least, the Senate has the right to look into it. I mean, that's their constitutional right and their constitutional prerogative. And at the very least, they need to do so and then tell the public what they find and go from there.
Yeah.
And if they think that it is a huge issue, there's an election coming up not too long from now. They should probably make an issue of it, right? I mean, the other party has politicized appointments to that court for quite some time. Democrats have just as much a right to as they did.
How did Clarence Thomas get caught this time? Or it get found out?
I don't really know. I mean,
I think
ProPublica is the one who put this out. And
Yeah.
they're kind of good at that. But I don't know how they got their information. I don't even know if they've said how they got their information yet. I don't know if I.
After 20 years, it's kind of hard to keep something like that secret. Somebody somewhere is going to go, hey, do you know what Clarence Thomas has been doing with this guy for the last so many years?
Yeah. I don't know if I've come across that or not, but I mean, they, ProPublica is pretty good at that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they get it from though.
Yeah.
We might be able to figure that out or read through all these articles and find one, but
Yeah. Let me bring something else up here. Is anybody like me feeling slightly sorry for this kid who leaked this information?
Oh, I was reading that. Wow, yeah. He's putting it up in the video game.
Sorry. He
Huh?
did this
Sorry
on
for
his
him?
own.
What?
Sorry, he did this on his
Well,
own.
I just feel that to begin with, okay, he could have never gotten that information if it wasn't out there to get. Okay? So what was the government doing to hide this information and to make sure that people couldn't get this information online easily? This kid wasn't like a higher up. This kid only had. They said, oh well, he had what do you call it? He had top secret clearance.
Okay.
Hey, I had top secret clearance. That's nothing. That's the lowest form of top secret clearance you can get. The next one up, which I almost had, was crypto top secret. The fact that he had that, you get that just because you're somewhere where there are code machines and things like that. Like I was with Armed Forces Radio and Television Service, and in the middle of our floor there was this bunker, and inside was a lot of code equipment. And because we were on the same floor as that, we all had to be given top secret clearance. Which, by the way, the government didn't wind up giving me till 2 days before I mustered out of the Navy. But that, again, was their fault. But,
obviously, the government screwed up here,
yeah,
allowing that to be out there.
Yeah, and this kid probably just was trying to impress his friends on that gaming
Yeah, he's
site.
putting it on the game boards. Yeah.
Yeah. On Discord, I think.
I actually run. I run my Dungeons and Dragons on Discord. I have my own channel, but it's private.
Yeah. But the
It's a
point
big
is,
community, yeah.
the point is, I mean, I kind of feel sorry for him because hey, he's 21 years old. He's probably a real dope and didn't know that that this was going to get him in trouble. He figured he was just showing it to his friends.
Look what I get. Look what I have.
Look what I got.
Look
But
what I have.
but it must have been pretty. It wasn't like he worked for a high level in the government and he was dealing with this stuff and then he leaked it. He's no Snowden. He's no who's that other woman that she got in trouble for it? Trying to remember her name now. He's
Somebody's definitely getting fired over this. So whoever was supposed to watch this kid, there's some people.
Well, no, what they're doing is they're blaming the wrong person. They're not blaming the people who made this stuff easily available for this kid to get it, because he didn't have the kind of clearance where he could get this kind of stuff on his own. He didn't have access to it. So apparently access to it was pretty easy. Now, I put it up to you. What do you think?
I think he's going to prison for the rest of his life.
No, he's not going to prison for
It's
the rest
better
of
than shooting up a school. I mean, trying to impress friends.
Yeah, it's not exactly shooting up a school.
Rather than getting a gun to impress his friends, so.
Yeah, but I mean, no, he's not going to. In fact, they said he may not even get time.
He's gonna get a raise.
But they show up. Here's his kid. Did you see him? He's like, he's a kid, right? They show up with half the army.
You'd be thinking like he's a terrorist or something.
He's a military personnel, and he could have weapons. So,
well, he did have
the
weapons.
Army didn't show up. The FBI SWAT team.
He's in the middle of playing his Xbox, and they're breaking the door down.
He did have weapons, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's why they sent. That's why they sent the FBI.
No, I don't think that's why they did it. I think they did it for show. I mean, they had like 10 military people there, plus the FBI.
You thought it was Waco all over again.
Yeah, I mean,
they used the FBI SWAT team to take him into custody.
I mean,
I wonder who made that decision, Alex, to go
this kid, if they had phoned him up and said, "Look, you did this wrong. We want you to give yourself up. Can you turn yourself into the closest local federal agent?" He probably would have.
Or not.
Come on, this kid isn't like some big criminal, okay? But they're using him as the scapegoat because the government made this stuff, the ability to compromise this stuff, very easy.
Okay.
Because a kid with, top secret clearance, oh boy, a top secret clearance, could never get access to that material unless it was out there to get access to. So, and it wasn't like he sent it off to, WikiLeaks or anything like that, like all the other people did. He just, here comes, this says Charlie Wallace.
I think it's Charlie.
Well, I think it's Charlie too, but I ain't taking any chances tonight. Okay, so now you'll see my ugly mug, and I bring in Charlie Wallace. Okay, let's see if this in fact is Charlie Wallace. Okay, there we go. There it is, Charlie Wallace. Okay, back to our program. Thank you, Charlie, for joining us this evening.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Did you hear what we were talking about this kid who, gave out, put out?
No, I just saw the story this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I just said I felt sorry for him because it's the government. Look, it's the government's job to make this stuff unavailable to people like him. It's and he was just trying to impress his friends. That's all he was trying to do. Marjorie said, well, this site was like one of those racist sites or whatever. And I went, no, it's a game site.
That's a game site. I use that.
It's some game site. Yeah.
You can have private little room for my campaign.
Tony's on the racist Dungeons and Dragons site.
I'm on my own. You heard my friends when they were zooming in. I have my own channel. You heard Josh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they got Kirk called in from San Fran.
Really?
I bring him in.
Oh, okay.
It's not really. It's a hobby site. Yeah.
My son plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, really?
My kids on it.
You play Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't. My son does.
Oh, your son does. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I spy on my kids on it.
You spy on your kids?
Alex, you enjoy it.
My kid is on it, and
I'm telling you.
he acts with his friends on it when they're playing games. So I get the alerts, and I sit there and listen to them chew each other up while they're playing games.
Tony, I've had like 40 years to get into that. And in all those
you got to get in the right campaign.
And the one time I decided I was going to try it, it was
really?
I found it so boring. That was it for me.
Well, you got to have. I'm a good game master. I'm telling you.
Well, great. But,
Oh my God.
You heard the guys calling, right, John? Brian.
Let's talk about coffee or something.
Yeah.
did you
Oh, I
ever
gotta say
did you
something
ever
about
play
coffee,
Did you ever play The Last of Us?
I didn't play that.
Well,
Actually,
then you're not a game person.
I'm more Super Mario, to tell you the truth.
Then you're really not a game person.
Oh, I love Super Mario.
What you are is a 3-year-old child at a mall.
Zelda's great. Are you kidding me? I love that.
What?
Zelda's a great game, Alex.
What's a great game?
Legend of Zelda, the new one.
Okay.
The open world Breath of the Wild. Wow.
Well, what kind of machine do you have to play them on?
Oh, I got the Switch, the Nintendo Switch.
Really?
Yeah, I love them. I have every Nintendo system. Don't forget about it.
I've got the newest PlayStation.
I didn't get the. That's too pricey for me. But they want like $600 for it.
Yeah, but they're good.
It is. It looks good. I keep staring at it. But
Plus, you can play. What do you call it? The 4K movies on it.
Oh, okay, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I have a.
You could sell one magazine and get that money. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
heard my game.
right.
Brian
You could
heard my
sell.
gaming
You
group,
could sell
yeah.
one magazine. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, I got a magazine that you're going to be interested in next week, Alex. When I called on Ed Sanders, I bought it from a guy.
Oh, okay. Just because I knew Ed Sanders doesn't mean I care about.
Well, I know it's about the counterculture.
Any more about him than I already told you.
I know you got me interested on it. Now that was it. I bought the magazine the guy had. I got to read that. It's about the counterculture in the 60s.
And how much did he sell the magazine for?
I chewed him down. I bought 10 lives.
You
from the
what?
60s.
What?
Wait,
I chewed him down.
You chewed him down?
Chew, not chew.
You didn't say Jewed him down?
No, I said chew. That's my.
Well, you know where? Well, I don't know where that comes from, but I have an idea that it's because somebody didn't know somebody was saying Jew.
But you know what I did? We were talking last night. You got me interested with the whole space thing and all. So this guy I bought comics from. He had
The
Life
whole
magazine.
space thing.
Remember you were talking about space with the moon landing and all that? So the
No.
guy had a whole bunch of Life magazines from the 60s. So he had one with the moon landing, that article from 69. So I said, you know what? I bought 10 and I got them for a price I wanted. I'm going to keep them. And I figured I wanted to read them because, to see how, there's a little snapshot in time. So I got the Ed Sanders. I got some on Vietnam, some good articles like the Life on the covers.
Oh, we just lost 20 people.
I'm sorry. Yeah. All right.
They were all Jews.
Yeah.
I said chew.
Yeah.
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 Well, listen,
Can I
later
say one-
on when you got time, let's get together and go out and get some food. Let's get some hinks.
What's that?
Hinks.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my, you really want to get the money.
Yeah, I chewed him down. What does that mean?
Well, I knocked it down. I bought a set of 10.
Okay,
How
all right.
about saying I negotiated with them?
I negotiated.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, meanwhile, back to other stuff here.
Yes.
But, today the Supreme Court also decided to not put into effect the ban on that abortion pill.
What's going on with that?
And they're going to then judge. They were asked for immediate relief on it, and so they said, okay, hold off on doing it, and then we'll make a judgment later. Josh, how do you think that judgment will turn out, knowing the court?
Well, I think that the stay they did was, necessary because the two rulings that came out that same day or whatever, were basically in conflict with one another, and that left that company, the main distributor or any distributor of that, in a complete conundrum, right? Because they can't simultaneously enforce or abide by both rulings. I mean, so someone had to decide obviously that's the Supreme Court. I think that their stay is fairly telling. You know, I think that the logic that was used by the circuit in Texas, I think some of the conservative justices will find a little bit offensive. I don't think that they'll like the fact that some of it was almost seen as a blatant disregard, not just for precedent, but for law. You know, that the statute and the time to handle something like this had passed long ago, that the folks who brought it didn't really have standing to bring it. I mean, you know, stuff that tends to irritate conservative justices. So I kind of think that it's going to end up, you know, probably getting overturned, if I had to guess.
But
I think it'll take a while to actually get a case.
Wait a minute. What will get overturned? What will get overturned? What will get overturned? What will get overturned? The FDA's.
I think the one from Texas that
oh, okay.
That
All right. Okay, because what they did is they overturned the FDA's decision years ago that this pill was okay. All right. So when you say overturn, you could be mentioning either way. So.
Yeah, and I think that you know, I think that Congress has clearly legislatively given the power to do such things to the FDA. Okay. So that's where it's like sort of the opposite of where you saw like the vaccine mandate through like OSHA or whatever, where, like I said, you know, OSHA was never legislatively mandated to take such an action, but in this particular, and that's why that didn't really go well for at the court, right? But this is sort of kind of on the opposite end of that. You know, I think that it's pretty obvious that the FDA does have the right to approve or not approve drugs. I mean, that's literally what they do. Congress has really, to my memory, never specifically passed a piece of legislation that said this pill is legal to take, right?
Right.
I mean, they've never, 535 people have never debated and then passed a law that said, you know, it is legal to take ibuprofen made by this company, you know? I mean, and then the president signed it and they had a big thing. No, they passed a law that said this agency is allowed to decide this. They debated that, the president signed it, and now this agency.
So you think this is not going to go well for the anti-abortion people?
Yeah, I don't think it will.
I figured that the worst they could do if they wanted to be the real conservative assholes that they turned out to be recently, what with Roe v. Wade, is that they will come out with a decision that it's up to each individual state to decide.
Yeah, but I don't think they can because, you know, I think they get into like interstate commerce and conflicts and things like that with who can distribute what where, and it would not allow a company to sell things across state lines. I mean, it would just, I mean, it's I think it's too complicated for that, and you know. And I think that is a step further than the conservative justices, if that's what you want to call them, will consider the right that the government should have.
Right.
You know, I mean, if they're for less government interference, I think that route is high government interference, and the least amount of government interference is just saying, well, what does the law say? The law says that this federal agency is allowed to make these decisions. This federal agency made that decision. They made it a long time ago. The time for challenge passed, and the people who brought it have really not much to do with it. So I think on a number of things that they typically care about, I don't think it meets their criteria. I mean, I think it's probably, it's just abortion people, you know, pushing the limit, trying to get a case up there and hoping they hit the jackpot again, right? I mean... You know, it's because they're like playing with free money, are they not?
Yeah.
I mean, they hit a jackpot at Las Vegas, and they said, you know, we got a hell of a lot. Let's just keep playing a little more, and, you know, maybe we'll win again. I mean, I think that's kind of what they're doing.
Well, they could lose again big time.
It's possible, right.
By the way,
Yeah, I mean, it could, it could backfire. I mean, in the long run,
Charlie is wearing a fresh T-shirt tonight, and I can tell because it doesn't look like it's been in the wash once. And unless you just don't ever wash your T-shirts, let's see here. What does that say? Counting in binary is as easy as, oh boy, 0110 Okay, all right.
He only wears them like an hour a day with us for Monday show.
Yeah. The rest of the time he wears polos, but
baseball.
Baseball. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Regular white T-shirt like Tony.
Yep. Yeah, you don't wear anything that says anything on your T-shirts, right?
Fruit of the Loom.
You, Tony.
Oh, I do. I have superhero shirts. I should wear one on Monday. On Wednesday. I got a lot of different character shirts.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now you're going to encourage me, so I'm breaking them out then.
All my shirts say 1939 on them.
Really?
That's all I ever get, but they're wearing out now. They're kind of.
Oh, you get it? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a lot of superhero shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually got pajama superheroes. But you can't see it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want to see that, please.
Yeah, I got 3 pairs of them on Amazon. Once they go on sale, I scoop them up.
Does anybody think DeSantis is going to run for president?
Yeah.
He got. I don't know. I mean, Phil's girlfriend went crazy. The other one, she's yelling at the beer commercial, Bud Light now. That Marjorie Taylor or something.
Oh yeah.
What, she did a Bud Light commercial?
Well, because I think they're for like
They got a
for gay and lesbians or something like that, Charlie. And now all of a sudden, it's like she's standing out against that. I don't know.
I was going to say that Budweiser is definitely not a Republican company.
So she
Her
didn't.
and
She
Kid
didn't.
Rock being the big boneheads.
Oh, she's going
I don't
against Budweiser.
I don't.
I mean, they're buying hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars worth of Bud Light just to run it over with a truck. Or something.
Wait a minute. Tell me this story. I don't know what you're talking about.
Charlie, you could say it.
What happened?
The Bud Light had a special beer thing made up, and they delivered it to this trans girl, I guess, who's been documenting her transition on TikTok for the last year. And
Okay.
to celebrate the anniversary of the first podcast or whatever that they put up, they had her picture on Bud Light cans delivered to her. And
Just
that was
delivered to
by-
her. They didn't put them out nationally.
No, they're not in the grocery stores, but the right wing is so bent out of shape over it that they're buying up hundreds and thousands of cans of Bud to shoot it, to run it over with a tank, to run it over with a truck.
Hey, listen. Bud Light doesn't give a crap
They love it.
because
They had to
because
buy
they're
the
buying
cans
those
to get 'em.
cans.
You don't even have to drink them.
Huh? No. Wow.
So this goes way back to the 1970s when Coors boycotted gay LGBT people and stuff like that, and Bud was the preferred drink, and they supported.
If I remember that story correctly, they said that Coors was anti-LGBTQ, whatever.
Yes.
That's what I said.
When it wasn't true. It
Well,
wasn't. I remember the story. It was on 60 Minutes, and they ran the story, and they said, "We're doing the story to set the record straight." And they went to Coors, and they went to various people, and showed that the whole story was a lie. That Coors, in fact, had employed lots of gay people, lots of gay people.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a friend of mine that was part owner in a gay bar in San Francisco in the 70s and 80s. And he said none of the gay bars throughout the country are allowing.
And that was because of a lie that was started about Coors. Now, it's not that Coors isn't a right-wing company. It's owned by right-wing people. But they were always very good at hiring people of any gender and not questioning that or getting rid of them because they happen to be gay. What they were doing was saying that Coors was doing quite the opposite, which wasn't true.
So at the gay pride parades, you never see Coors advertised. You see
Well, I
Budweiser.
mean, they're being stupid because
Budweiser all
it was
over.
proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was no truth to that story.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Do you have your hand up, Jeff? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Coors was always originally a West Coast beer.
Actually, they're from Colorado.
I think you're right, Colorado.
Yeah.
That's West
But
Coast.
I know a lot
No,
of
it's
people wanted to have Coors when it was not available. I mean, today you can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys I know used to get on airplanes for business, okay?
Yeah.
On small airplanes, and they would go to this factory and whatever and spend like one day. Well, all of a sudden, where I worked, these guys started taking Coors on the airplane, except they didn't tell the pilot that. And they got pissed off because they were putting enough beer that they were affecting the weight.
Oh,
Oh, the
Wow.
plane.
Of the
Yeah.
plane.
how much?
Yeah.
Must have been a small plane.
Small plane, lots of Coors. Everybody was very happy about it, except for the pilot and the co-pilot, who actually said to you guys, officially no beer allowed on the airplane.
Okay, well, speaking of companies which have been literally ruined by innuendo, the Dominion suit goes to trial next week.
Yeah.
They're
And it-
suing for a lot more than they're worth, aren't they?
1.6 billion. I think they're worth a lot of money.
They're probably worth more, but that's a big chunk.
I mean, if they're asking for 1.6 billion, it's because they feel that's business lost.
I could live comfortable on half of that.
Well, we know you could live comfortable on almost nothing, but anyway, it is. It's going to be an interesting suit because I don't think Fox is going to win this one.
No, I don't either.
I don't either.
Josh, did you hear about earlier in the week that they said to the judge that they were going to use the defense that they had the right to report the news, and the judge said, "Don't use that because I'm going to turn it down if you bring it up because you had the ability to have on people who disagreed
Yeah.
that Dominion machines were at fault and were fixing the election, but you never had them on. And because of that, you can't use that argument. That you were trying to be, bastions of editorial content, as it were. What do you think about that, Josh? Would you agree?
Yeah, they don't really have any argument that they could make that's going to work because they were caught. I mean,
This could,
they were
if
caught robbing a bank on camera with 100 people and the police right there. I mean,
yeah,
you're just, you can have your trial and you can say, that ain't me. That's a dude that looks like me, but that ain't me. We'll waste 4 or 5 days of you doing that. And when it's all over with, you can go to prison. You know, I mean, that's what
yeah.
that's what they're saying is, that's not us. I mean, that's some people that sound like us, but we would never say that. We're a news organization. We are fair and balanced.
Yeah, no, but we
What
are a
about this?
news
Oh, that ain't me on the
organization.
tape. That's a guy that sounds like me.
We have a right to report the news. Yes, but when you're bringing people on, like Rudy Giuliani and everybody else who was making the case that Dominion was fraudulent, and then you're not bringing on people on the other side, then you're not investing your time in journalism.
And you can present one-sided news and opinion, but not at the detriment of another or the defamation of an individual or a company.
Exactly.
I mean, you can say we decide that a cat stuck in a tree is not news, but a dog chasing a car is. I mean, that's fine.
Well, if they get popped,
it ruins someone's reputation.
If they get popped for 6 million? What are they? Billion? 1.2 billion. they get popped for that, it's over for them. They got to close up shop.
I mean, right. I mean, you can't, you can't go on television and say that we're going to report tonight that, so-and-so is a sex offender, child molester, and all this stuff, and then his work sees it, and he gets fired, and his wife divorces him, and all this, and then it turns out it's not true. Oh, but not only is it not true, but there are emails and audio tapes with everyone sitting around saying, I know we're about to go on the air and say this, but it's not true. And we know it, but we don't care, to be fine. I mean...
Well, you also have all these letters and so on, these texts from the people on the air saying, I don't believe Trump. Trump's...
Right.
I don't believe this person. I don't believe that person. And then they go on the air and do this whole anti-Dominion thing.
Every single right or freedom in this country comes with limitation and responsibility attached, right?
Right.
I mean, your rights can be taken away. We can put you in prison, right? You no longer have the right to do A, B, and C because you did this. I mean, rights come with limitations and responsibilities. And they were well over the limitation of freedom of the press and freedom of speech. And they were well outside of fulfilling their responsibility.
And what's even worse is they have the proof that they were worried about their bottom line.
Yep.
That their advertisers, their ratings would hurt, thereby the ratings determine how much people pay for advertising. You can always get low ratings, but then you have to lower the money you charge people for advertising.
And I don't care. This is how it works. Look, if 6 months from now, there's some bombshell proof that MSNBC has been saying flat out lies about Trump's tax returns, and they got emails and audio tapes of everyone going on air saying, we're making this up, we know it's a lie, then you know what? Book them, Dano.
Yeah, exactly.
Sue them too.
Yeah. They're not. I don't know. I mean, I hope they really do have a trial. I mean, it's supposed to go on starting next week, and you got Murdoch is supposed to testify, and all the people who are on Fox are supposed to testify, and it looks like it's going to be a bloodbath.
Funny thing is you go to that channel right now, and they're doing it again. They continue to do it.
They still do it. And I bet when they go to trial next week, it's not reported on Fox.
Right.
And let's face it, it's newsworthy, Fox, but oh well. Anyway,
I mean, not showing up in court in your $40,000 suit and acting like a smug prick is going to go a long way toward not costing you a lot of money. Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, because that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yep.
So
hey, listen, we got the theme playing here. And that brings to a close yet another fine week of broadcasting here. Well, actually, we still got Jack coming up next. But we bring this program to a fond conclusion for the week. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to post this show. I haven't figured that out yet. I got to go. Let's see what happened here. But anyway, hey, thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate you and your legal opinions. Also, thanks to Kevin. Thanks to Jeff. Love having you here. And, Alan, thank you so much for coming on here. And, of course, Brian, we love having you here. Was that Adrian in the background we saw earlier?
Yeah,
there
she's
she is.
bouncing around.
She's hanging out on the floor by the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has dance rehearsal tomorrow. She got to get to bed.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Adrian.
Yeah, I have dance rehearsal too. Isn't that amazing? Tony, thank you, and thank you very much, Charlie. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, okay? And I'll give you a big wave goodbye as well. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Jack Bishop is next over most of this same GabNet. He'll be doing a little program called The Intersection, and you can call him on Skype at GabNet Live. In the meantime, I'll see you again on Monday with the pop-up show, and then again next Wednesday right here, same station, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, everybody, have a nice night, and if you see her, tell her I love her. Okay? Bye-bye.